Before we get going into the video, my name is Brando. For the new viewers, I'm the founder of Brandlux Media. We are an e-commerce growth agency. We've been able and so fortunate to work with 100 plus partners. And so the reason I started this channel is to document every framework that I know is proven to work and that actually work, so that you can get some value from it and hopefully make your business a success. With no further ado, I hope you enjoy this video. In this video, I'm going to talk about the most profitable image ads that you can run for your e-commerce business. Okay, and there's a huge misconception that videos always work better than image ads, and it's just not the reality. We have some clients that do 8 figures that run 60% of their ads are essentially image ads, not videos, images. And so if you know how to structure this properly within your ad account, and if you know how to present the image ads with the right framework to the right audience, they can work perfectly fine, if not even better sometimes than image ads, depending on the audience that you're going after. Okay, so in this video, I'm going to discuss these things and I hope you enjoy. Let's get into it. Great, so before we get started with actually showing you the image ads, which I'm going to do in just a second, and I'm also going to show you a tool that will 10x the speed, the process of actually creating these ads, so you don't have to spend 3 hours just doing one image ads. And it's basically a template that you can use. And so stick until around mid video. Towards the end, I'm going to reveal that software that I use. That's going to save you a bunch of time. But before we get into the actual image ads and analyzing them with the frameworks, I have a bunch of different ads here to go through. I want you to understand the framework behind any type of creative, but also specifically image ads, right? Because image ads, if you want to make them work and you want to be effective at running image ads, you need to understand the different levels of awareness, so that you can also cater your ad copy and make sure that you have a congruent ad. So I'm going to briefly talk about the different levels of stages of awareness so that it makes more sense. If you already know these stages of awareness, still listen, because you might learn something new here. And then I also want to talk about the difference between images and videos and when you should actually run them. And typically, based on working at this point with over 100 brands, I've been able to see some differences in when image ads work best and when videos work best and how to make them work together. Okay, so first of all, understanding the levels of awareness. So there's product aware, solution aware, completely unaware, problem aware, and most aware. So many times whenever people test images, they just kind of stick to like 1 or 2 concepts, and so they maybe do like a review ad, or just like a demo, a picture of the ad, or just like showing us versus them, and then they don't really expand their creatives from like image ads from like a creative perspective. And so they only maybe touch base on like people that already know their product and that are maybe most aware, basically like offer ads. This is a good example where you show an offer, and you would only show an offer to people that actually are maybe a little bit more aware. And so you have to also consider, and also the error is that people maybe just show a random offer to people that are completely cold, right? And so it doesn't make sense, which is, to my point, a reason why you need to understand the different levels of awareness, and based on what level of awareness you want to go after, cold or hot, then you can show a type of ad that actually makes sense with it, right? So first of all, there's people that are product aware. They already know your product. People that are solution aware, they don't necessarily know your product, but they know of the solution that your product can provide. They're completely unaware, that you have no idea that they need your product or how it looks, that does even exist. And then there's problem aware. They actually are aware of the problem, not necessarily of like the solutions that there are in the market. And so this is colder than this one. And then there's most aware, basically either your customers, or not necessarily your customers, but people that just know everything about your competitors, what's in the market, what are the prices, what are you proposing to the market. And so based on these levels of awareness, we will then touch base on different types of creatives, and then we will assess whether they're completely unaware, problem aware, etc. Now, talking about image ads, this is really important. I've noticed that typically image ads, regardless of what you sell, work, but typically we see actually a 60 to 40% ratio, sometimes even higher, 70% to 30%, whenever we're going after like products that sell themselves. And so I'll give you an example, like home decor. If you sell frames, if you sell a table, right? That's a perfect example of a product that you just show it. Even like apparel. Apparel is huge. We've scaled some clients quite aggressively by just like, not by just, but running a big majority of their ads through like carousels, or just like very high perceived image ads or GIFs, right? And then of course, like you can make anything work, especially with apparel. There's a bunch of UGC opportunity there. So I'm not saying apparel is like 70-30. I'm just saying, you know, image ads actually work very well for apparel as well. And then typically, so for products that sell themselves like home decor, lighting, whatever, just an example, image ads tend to work very well because all people need to see is the product and if they like it, right? And in this case, how it fits in their house. So you would maybe do like a display of like a home or like a living room, and then you would have your product there so people know how it looks. And so in other cases where maybe videos, not maybe but for sure, where videos tend to do a little bit better, and or not necessarily tend to do a little bit better, but where you have to probably invest a little bit more into videos, is with demo products. So if you are doing like a skincare product, or there's a demo, like there's a special bottle solution that I actually need to show you how it works, typically that's where you have to do more of demos. One other thing that I noticed is that it also depends on how much advertising you're running. So if you are, let's just say, if your ad spend level is across multiple different platforms and you're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars and whatever, then typically what tends to happen is that your retargeting pools are going to be, you know, bigger. And what happens with retargeting, you know, when you go after and retarget, you know, it actually makes sense to just slap an image ad, which is maybe a testimonial, and us versus them, an offer, right? And so typically brands that tend to scale aggressively and have like multiple channels tend to always run a percentage of image ads that are like, you know, a larger percentage of image ads. That's how I should put it. Okay, so these things keep in mind what I just said. Now let's move into the actual images over here. Now I'm going to talk about some concepts here. So I love this first one quite a lot because this is an example of like social proof, right? And what I've also done, I also have an example down below with Google, right? So instead of doing like New York Times, there's basically a Google search. Let me just show you like over here, like this one over here, where basically all of this is like social proof, right? So you basically, and by the way, this is not even Google, it's like Google, just, you know, for to not get into any trouble. But essentially what this brand did is that they were genius idea. They have some social proof on the bottom. They put their product images, and then they do like a, you know, a search on like a fake Google, which looks very real, like the best weight loss supplements. And by the way, like the point here is not, you know, you can clearly see that this is not like you know, necessarily real, but people, you know, it's an ad, people know, and it's out of the point, right? It doesn't necessarily have to look extremely real. It's just like fun, it's and it's interesting, and there's social proof, essentially, a way to build social proof. So when are these ads, like when should you run these ads, right? Even this one where there's social proof. Well, you want to show social proof when you want to convince people. So typically these are people that are solution aware or problem aware, and they just need some sort of reinforcement that you are the brand, that they should trust you. So this is probably at this stage. So solution aware. They are aware of the solutions that there are in the market, and they're just kind of deciding which product to choose. Now let's move on to this one. This is basically features and benefits. And this is great for people that are problem aware, right? Or not necessarily product aware, but between, you know, solution aware and problem aware. So they're cold, and we maybe just need to remind them what are the amazing features that our products offer. And so this is great. It's a cold ad. And I always like to keep it simple. We use this structure. We put also with other clients, we put a product in the middle, and then we kind of stack features and benefits on each side. I like this. You know, it's very bold. It's very simple. And sometimes, you know, having like very cluttered image ads is not always useful. You want to have an impactful image that gets the job done. Now, this one over here, you could also run to cold traffic. You can test it, but this is necessarily better for people that are already within your funnel. And so this is something called an offer ad. So buy one, get one free. Very few words in the ad. There's, of course, over here on the right, there's the product, not necessarily in action, but you can see what product they're mentioning and they're selling, of course. And what is here? Summer approved sweat care for all. Oh, okay, yeah, buy one get one free. So basically, this is just an offer ad, and these can do very well, especially for split testing offers. So you can have the same exact image on the background, and then you just split test offer, and this is just a great easy way to split test to see what offer outperforms the other. Okay. Cool. So this is I would mostly do this. I would test it for cold traffic, but I would also mostly do it for like people that are most aware. They already know and like you, or they know a lot about the industry, and they're just maybe just looking for the best offer. Okay, moving over here, this is before and after. I love these a lot. You just have to be very careful with before and afters, especially for like skincare or beauty products, just because sometimes it can get quite delicate. And so there's actually one strategy that actually works very well, is that instead of doing a before and after if it gets rejected, you can use something called Carousel Ads. And basically, instead of having like an entire image, the first image in the carousel is the before, and then the second one is the after. Then the third one is the before, the fourth one is the after, and so on and so on. And so essentially Facebook AI doesn't really detect what's going on here. They're just detecting one image and then another image and then another image. So this is actually a genius idea that we've tested, and it works very well, and almost always it gets approved, okay? So I like this a lot because this is also kind of like IG friendly, social media friendly. It's kind of native, right? So there's like this, you know, IG kind of like post or reaction thing where people can comment in the stories. And so did the teeth whitening kit fix your teeth stains? Yes, it did. And it took only a few minutes a day, whatever. And so here's like an obvious before and after. And the reason I like this a lot is because it's basically contrasting you know, the color of the nails here, and it's showing how white their teeth are, her teeth are, compared to like their nail polish. So I like this a lot, actually. This is a cool one. And so you want to have these like kind of impactful images. Another one over here is us versus them, very traditional ad. You want to keep it simple, and you know, I don't necessarily I know some brands that do it, but I wouldn't necessarily go after and pick like a clear competitor, because like you don't want to go into any kind of lawsuit or whatever. So you know, I would just keep a generic baby carrier versus ours, and so kind of list the before and afters. And sometimes to make it even like a little bit more realistic, you can also just add a check on the other side. But yeah, this is just an example. And so these two, this one is more for like people that are maybe solution aware and they're like just kind of looking for the best option. And here is just kind of like it's essentially a review ad, so to get people to move forward within the funnel that are maybe already hot and they just need a little bit more reassurance. I like this ad a lot, which is also social proof. They basically, I think it's faked. Yeah, you can kind of see it over here. It's kind of faked, where you can just slap an image on like a billboard, and you know that, you know, adds authority. So I like this concept a lot. We've tested it. It works. I like this a lot too because this is kind of like a review ad, but it's a scroll stopper, because who would ever post a 1-star rating? And typically whenever we scroll by, and you know, there's a higher likelihood that we maybe read a 1-star rating rather than a 5-star rating, right? And so it's kind of like the opposite, but they do kind of like a fun, you know, playful wording here where they say why you'll regret buying this skincare treatment, and it says all my other skincare products absorb so much better. I don't have to apply as much, and they were really expensive. So you know, they're kind of using like a negative connotation, but it's actually a positive, because you know, if you use this by microneedling or whatever, there's more absorption and you have to like spend less to buy expensive products. And so it's like, you know, it's kind of like the opposite reinforcement here. So I like this a lot. It's being creative. It's thinking outside of the box. This is something that we call like a native type of ad, where it's like it's very native, meaning that it's like very kind of standard. It almost looks like you're scrolling through like normal feed, and they're just reading comments, and this is just like a reaction to the comment, and stuff like that. So this is very, you know, very standard. And then I told you I went already through this. This works very well. I really recommend testing. And then you can also test different headlines and of course different images. And nothing, this is basically it for the image ads. Of course there are a lot more. Now let's talk about how you can actually apply them fast without having to build them from scratch. And so I use tools like Creative OS. I'm not affiliated to them yet, but I probably will soon, because they're just a great tool. And so this is an example. You go in, you log into the Creative OS app. It's $50 a month. If you want to upgrade, which I usually actually did upgrade to the email and landers, where you get access to like email templates and landers, it's $100 a month. And so what I did is that I upgraded. I just copied the templates, and then when I didn't need them anymore, I just downgraded, because I honestly don't even need them anymore. And I also have my own designers that design all of these images, landers, and emails. But it's good for inspiration. And so what you can do here is that you can basically copy and paste. Let's just get a cool one over here. Let's just get this one, kind of the features or whatever. Or let's see if there's a better one. Let's do this one because it has a little more elements, and so you can see the difference. You can either copy it on Figma, so copy and then you go on Figma and you paste, and it gives you like 2 templates, and I'll show you how it looks. Or you can go into Canva and you can basically just duplicate it, and it will give you the actual template. You can use the same template. You'll see how cool this is. It's really going to save you a lot of time. loads. But yeah, so this is the original one, and then you're gonna have basically the variation where you have to kind of edit. But look, this is gonna save you a lot of time. I mean, you know, it's basically like 70%, 80% done, and you just need to add an image over here, add your social if you want to take them away or whatever, or actually just, you know, you can copy them from here, and then you can just fill it out. It's very, very simple, and I like this a lot. And so this simplifies life a lot, and you know, let's see how this one looks. I'm curious to know how this one looks, but I think it's, you know, this is kind of like the billboard strategy. Let's see. Very realistic. What marketers do to pop on and have a little bit more authority. So this is actually a different image, but I guess you could just basically change it here. Cool. So this is basically it. I love this tool. It saves you a lot of time. Let me know if you have any questions. I always want to make sure that I actually provide value in the videos that I do. And so if there's any comment or question that you have, please feel free. If you actually own an e-commerce business doing between $50,000 and $100,000 a month, at least, and you want to get to a 7-figure a month level or just multiple 7 figures a year, feel free to apply to a consultation. We're actually in this moment offering free consultations and free audits, and you can speak either with me or one of my team members, and it's going to be a super laid back conversation. We talk about business, we give you an audit, and then we give you a plan of action. And then if the conversation goes well and there's good synergy and we have spots available for our done for you program where we run your ads and do everything for you, then we can explore a conversation about that if and only that is the case. Okay, that's it for this video. Hope you enjoyed. Bye bye. On a side note, before I end it off here, if you actually own an e-commerce business and you want your business and your brand to be audited, we can just hop on a call, hop on a free strategy session with myself or one of my team members, and we can pretty much have a conversation about your roadmap towards next year and how perhaps you can reach your goals. The conversation is very laid back. It's honestly just to understand if there's an opportunity for us to do even business together one day. Okay? With no further ado, thank you once again. And who knows, maybe see you in the next masterclass.